Hello my friends, welcome back to Shining Brighter. This is Nick, and if you like my content, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the hype button, help my channel to grow so I can try to reach out and help as many people as I can. Inevitably in everybody's lives, we're going to come into a fork in the road where you have to make a decision, a choice. And no matter what choice you make, to either go right or to go left, what you need to keep in mind is that there are consequences for your choices. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the consequences are going to be positive or negative. You're probably going to get both no matter what you choose. The issue at hand is, are you going to take responsibility for the choice you made? Are you going to take the consequences, face them, work through them, try to make something good come out of it no matter what? Or if you made a choice and good consequences came with it, are you going to try and make it even better? It doesn't matter what the choice was about, whether it was about your work life, your private life, your romantic life, friends, coworkers, family. Every single day we have to make choices, and we have to be able to live with the consequences. And it's really important before you make choices to think about those consequences, because chances are those consequences aren't just going to affect you. They're going to affect people around you. Maybe people that you really love. Maybe people that depend on you, or maybe people that look up to you. No matter what, if you don't think of the consequences, you could really do a lot of damage. You could hurt a lot of people. But you know, for yourself, there's the consequences are going to affect you too. All too often, I hear people say they made a mistake. Usually, if it's a scenario where they made a choice they knew they shouldn't have, and it either got caught or it came to light, and they were trying to do damage control and say, I made a mistake. Well, no, you didn't. I'm sorry. The blunt truth is, you made a choice, and you didn't really think it through. Whether the choice was made out of fear, desperation, greed, lust, selfishness, whatever it was, don't try to wash it away by saying you made a mistake. Chances are you knew what you were doing. There are also times where you make choices and you know that it's the right choice. It still doesn't change the fact that the consequences can still hurt. And maybe it's not because you did anything wrong. Maybe the choice that you made is actually the best choice you could make for your life. But usually those choices still come with the consequences of healing. And not that healing is a bad consequence. Don't misunderstand me. Because healing is always positive. The problem is, healing is difficult. It's painful. It is truly like riding a roller coaster. You have ups and downs. As you heal, the ups get a little bit higher. But when you come down, it hits a little bit harder. And it can be tough to try and ride up the next hill again, because healing isn't linear. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of understanding. It takes acceptance, accountability. You're gonna have days where you feel great and you're happy and you're smiling. You're gonna have days where you're really frustrated and you're hurt and you're sad. You'll have days where you cry. You'll have days where you want to scream. You will go through just about every emotion there is, depending on the severity of the healing that you're going through. And those are the consequences I'm talking about. So, in my case, I've said it before, I made the choice 3 years ago to end a toxic marriage and end a toxic work environment, and to cut a lot of people out of my life that were having very negative consequences on me. So much so to the point where it affected my health, and took me out of action for about 7 months, and before we finally got it all figured out. Here I am, 3 years after starting all the work to heal, and while I've had a lot more uptime than I have downtime, the downtimes still come, and when they do, they can still hit pretty hard. And you'll find yourself saying, why am I going through this? I thought I healed that. I thought I did that work. I thought I put that behind me. But unfortunately, there are times where, yeah, you did great. You did a lot of work. And you are more healed than you were. But that doesn't mean that you're completely healed. And that can be difficult to deal with. Nobody wants to go through that. Nobody wants to think that no matter what they did, there's still more work to be done. Because when there's still more work to be done, that means that there are more consequences, and more likely than not, some more pain and sadness to go through. And it can be a deterrent. It really can. I understand why people choose not to do the work. I wholly subscribe and advise strongly for everybody to do the work, because ultimately you will be better, and you will be happier, you will be stronger, and you will be a much better version of yourself than you could ever believe. But I get it. It's not easy. So I don't judge anybody that doesn't do the work. I do feel bad for them to an extent, because even feeling bad for somebody is somewhat of a negative emotion, and you don't want to put that energy out to somebody. You want to hope for them, and you can give empathy and help and support, but if that person's not ready, they're not ready, and there's nothing you can do about that. And that's kind of been my problem. Just about my entire life, up until 3 years ago, I always put everybody ahead of me. I always tried to take care of everybody else. I always tried to help, support, guide, lift up, do whatever I could to put my energy into helping others, because it's who I am. It's ingrained in me. I do believe in it. The problem is I got so far into it because I wasn't getting that. I wasn't being taken care of the way I was taking care of people. And not to say that I didn't have people that cared about me, because that would be a lie. Of course I have, and I'm very fortunate in a lot of regards. But at the same time, some of the people that really should have, reciprocated what I was giving either didn't, couldn't, or just wouldn't. And I always hoped for those people to have, happiness and get to the best versions of themselves that I saw. And that, I think, is why I poured more of myself into that. The truth is, that was my way of coping with not being cared for the way I was caring for people. We all cope in different ways. We all make up different reasons or excuses. Sometimes it's not even a conscious thing that you're doing. And this is something that I just kind of came to light, honestly, today. Not that I didn't know that I was putting others before myself, but I didn't really understand why. I didn't understand that I was trying to heal the part of me that wanted somebody to take care of me for a change. And I know I'm not the only person that feels this, nor am I the only person that wasn't treated properly. So many of you have been treated the same, and you know what I'm talking about. Maybe it's too painful to admit to yourself. I hope not. It doesn't diminish you in any way. It doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't mean that, you're not strong, worthy, or deserving. It just means you didn't know your own value and your worth yet. And you weren't allowing yourself the respect you deserve. Again, healing is not an easy journey. It is literally like riding a roller coaster with ups and downs. And it's hard to stay on that roller coaster because it's not over in 5 or 10 minutes like an amusement park. I've been going through it for 3 years, doing the work, and up until about a week or so ago, I was feeling great. A couple weeks ago, until I was told that my person is 2 or 3 years away. Again, as far as that is concerned, I don't believe that that's set in stone. I'm not living by that timeline. I understand that things are fluid and subject to change, and my actions, my energy, my thoughts can change the course of my life in seconds. So I have to keep those things in mind. But the realization that I came to from that hearing that 2 to 3 years, it triggered my loneliness. I am a person who believes in a beautiful monogamous relationship with somebody, somebody that you can trust and talk to and share your pain and your secrets and your desires and your dreams with, somebody that wants to support you the way you support them. Having that beautiful life that you can have with somebody is not something to be taken for granted. Now, it's not for everybody. Not everybody wants that, nor am I telling anybody they should have that or want that. I'm just telling you from my point of view. But the loneliness, that is what really hit me hard and knocked me down for a couple days. Like many other people, without sounding like poor me or self-serving, because that's not the point of it, I'm just being honest. I'm tired of not having a good, healthy relationship. I'm tired of being alone at holidays. I'm tired of, doing everything on my own, not having somebody to build memories with, and, having that special somebody that you can lean on when you need to. It gets hard, and I think a lot of people, will resonate with that. So that is the downhill on the roller coaster ride that I'm on at the moment. Loneliness is tough. It really is. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to pick myself back up again. It doesn't mean that, thinking negatively of myself, because I'm not. I'm a far better person than I ever was, and I know what I deserve. So I have to work through the loneliness part. I have to figure that out. I have to be okay with whatever the time frame is, before I finally find somebody that wants the same, before I finally meet my person. And as much as it truly sucks, it's another lesson. It's another healing, and it's not meant to hurt me. It truly is meant to help you heal. It all depends on how you approach it, how you look at it, what you accept, and what you want to make of it. So part of it is just having to feel it. Have to acknowledge it, like I said in one of my last videos. But then you have to work on it. And in my case, that comes down to doing some more inner child work. But regardless, guys, don't let the roller coaster bring you down. Don't let it stop your momentum. Don't let it knock you back. Know your value, know your worth, respect yourselves. I see you all for who you really are, and I do love you all for it. Until next time.